a very warm welcome to the news this evening. I'm Isha Shah. In today's edition of the news, we'll cover the 36th India-French Strategic Dialogue held in New Delhi, preparations for the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Summit to be held from 8th to 10th January in Madhya Pradesh, and all the latest from the United States as its House fails to elect a new speaker yet again. All this and more in the next 30 minutes. Let's begin with the headlines. People's participation essential for success of water conservation. Prime Minister Modi addresses first National Conference of State Water Ministers, emphasizes need for involvement of states in the endeavour. India and France hold 36th Strategic Dialogue in Delhi. NSA Ajit Doval leads Indian discussions on bilateral relations and global issues. UGC approval needed for foreign universities to set up campus in India. Initial approval for 10 years. Foreign universities need to ensure quality of education imparted in India is on par with their main campus. 3,500 people from 70 countries register for Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Indore to be held in between 8 to 10 January. Prime Minister Modi to inaugurate the event on the 9th of January. And no relief expected as cold wave sweeps North India. Fog affects passenger movement. And let's take a look now at our flash news segment. President Draupadi Murmu asks military engineer service officers to use cutting-edge technologies including machine learning and artificial intelligence in future projects. India will be the most competitive source of green hydrogen, asserts Power Minister R.K. Singh. Projects annual production of 5 million metric tons before 2030 deadline. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav launches high-speed 5G telecom services in Odisha. Assures services will reach every village by August 2024. Telangana appeals to High Court against the single-judge bench verdict to transfer MLA poaching case to CBI. Prime Minister Modi applauds Ahmedabad's flower show held by Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. The show has drawn many passionate lovers of nature. The first G20 meeting in Puducherry to be held on the 31st of January, states Puducherry LG Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan. General Officer Commander in charge of the Northern Command, Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi visits state-of-the-art Agniveer training facility in Jammu's Dansal, reviews arrangements for the first batch of Agniveers. India reports 188 new coronavirus infections and 3 deaths in 24 hours. Active caseload now stands at 2,554. Biden administration proposes steep hike in fees for H-1B visas from $460 to $780 and that for L-1 from $460 to $1,385. EU urges member states to enact mandatory pre-boarding COVID tests for passengers coming in from China. Our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlined the importance of people's participation in water conservation, saying that attempts by governments alone cannot be successful. He was addressing the first All India Annual State Ministers' Conference on Water via video message today. He emphasized that water should be a subject of cooperation, collaboration and coordination among states. He called upon states to plan in advance in view of the fast pace of urbanization.
जल संरक्षण के लिए राज्यों के प्रयास देश के सामूहिक लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करने में बहुत सहायक होंगे। ऐसे में वाटर विजन एट 2047 अगले 25 वर्षों की अमृत यात्रा का एक महत्वपूर्ण आयाम है। साथियों, इस सम्मेलन में whole of the government और whole of the country इसके विजन को सामने रखकर चर्चाएं होना बहुत स्वाभाविक और आवश्यक भी है.
Prime Minister Modi stressed the role of public and social organizations and civil societies and asked for their maximum participation in the campaigns related to water conservation. Water Resources ministers from all states attended the first All India Annual State Ministers Conference on Water in Bhopal that was organized by the Jal Shakti Ministry. The theme of the conference is Water Vision at 2047. Let's listen in.
सरकार के अकेले प्रयास से ही सफलता नहीं आती. जो सरकार में है उन्हें इस सोच से बाहर निकलना होगा कि उनके अकेले के प्रयास से अपेक्षित परिणाम मिल जाएंगे. इसलिए जल संरक्षण से जुड़े अभियानों में जनता जनार्दन को, सामाजिक संगठनों को, सिविल सोसाइटी को भी ज्यादा से ज्यादा हमें जोड़ना होगा, साथ लेना होगा.
Meanwhile, Union Home Minister Amit Shah was in Tripura today, where he flagged off the BJP's Rath Yatra. He also addressed a public gathering. Flagging off the Jan Vishwas Yatra, Shah hailed the BJP government's work for development. He asserted that the BJP will return to power in Tripura with a 2/3 majority. Let's take a look.
जनता का भरोसा जीता जा सकता है. मुझे याद है 2018 में मैं पहली बार त्रिपुरा आया. मेरी बहुत बड़ी सभा हुई थी और उसमें 11 लोग उपस्थित थे. कितनी बड़ी सभा हुई थी? 11 लोग उपस्थित थे. मगर हमने तय किया था त्रिपुरा को एक कम्युनिस्टों के कुशासन से मुक्ति दिलाएंगे.
And talking about some important diplomatic engagements today, India and France held the 36th Strategic Dialogue in New Delhi today. The two sides discussed wide-ranging bilateral and global issues. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval led the Indian delegation, while the French delegation was led by Diplomatic Advisor to the French President, Mr. Emmanuel Bon. The last edition of the Strategic Dialogue was held in November 2021 in Paris.
The two sides held discussions on a variety of issues, of course, including the current global security situation in the context of the conflict in Ukraine, regional security in the context of Afghanistan, counter-terrorism, cyber security, defense cooperation in the Indo-Pacific, besides other issues of mutual concern.
Now, the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas will be held from 8th to 10th January in Indore in Madhya Pradesh. President of Guyana, Dr. Mohammad Irfan Ali, will be the chief guest, and President of Suriname, President Chandrika Persad Santokhi, will be the special guest of honor. Formal inauguration of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention will be done by Prime Minister Modi on the 9th of January. The main program will be preceded by Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas on the 8th of January. It will be inaugurated by Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Thakur. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will address the event. President Murmu will address the valedictory address on the 10th of January. She will also confer Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards on 27 people. 3,500 people from 70 countries have registered for the event. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2023 has special significance this year as it marks the 75 years of India's independence. Let's listen in.
So we have received enthusiastic response from diaspora for this convention with more than 3,500 registrations from nearly 70 different countries. The formal inauguration of the PBD convention will be done by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji on January 9th. We have Dr. Mohammad Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, who will be the chief guest, and Mr. Chandrika Persad Santokhi, President of the Republic of Suriname, will be the special guest of honor. We have ministerial level delegations from Mauritius, Malaysia, Panama, and big delegations of diaspora from several countries, including again Mauritius, UAE, USA, Qatar and Oman, besides of course other countries.
In a significant development, foreign universities will now be able to set up their campuses in India for the first time with UGC nod as per the draft norms unveiled by the UGC today. Under these rules, the varsities can also decide on the admission process, fee structure and repatriate its funds back home. UGC chairperson M. Jagadish Kumar said that the foreign universities with campuses in the country can only offer full-time programs in offline mode and not online or distance learning. The initial approval will be for 10 years and will be renewed in the 9th year subject to the meeting of certain conditions. He added that these institutions shall not offer any such study programs which jeopardizes the national interest of India or the standards of higher education here. The Commission has advised keeping the fees reasonable and transparent. Meanwhile, several parts of North India reeled under severe cold and dense fog affected railway movement. Delhi recorded a minimum temperature of 3 degrees Celsius, the lowest in January in 2 years. The Met Department has said that dense fog blanketed several parts of North India and the situation would continue in the coming weeks. An orange alert has been sounded for Delhi NCR for Thursday and Friday. Punjab and Haryana remain in the grip of biting cold with minimum temperatures hovering below normal limits at many places. Gurdaspur was the coldest place in Punjab, recording a minimum temperature of 2.2 degrees Celsius. Bhatinda recorded a low of 3 degrees Celsius, while Ludhiana was at 5.7 degrees Celsius. In Haryana, severe cold conditions prevailed in Hisar, which recorded a minimum temperature of 2.2 degrees Celsius. Chandigarh, the common capital of the two states, recorded a low of 5.1 degrees Celsius. A thick blanket of fog in the morning continued to envelop many parts of both the states, reducing visibility. Rajasthan also continued to reel under intense cold conditions with Churu and Sikar recording sub-zero minimum temperatures. The minimum temperature was recorded at minus 1.8 degrees Celsius in Fatehpur Sikar and minus 1.5 degrees in Churu on Wednesday night. Cold wave conditions will continue during the next 2 days. The Met Office has issued an orange alert for continuation of the extreme cold wave in many districts in Rajasthan. And Jammu and Kashmir also continues to reel under severe cold weather. At minus 6.4 degrees Celsius, Srinagar recorded the coldest night of the season so far. This was the second lowest winter temperature in the last 5 years in Srinagar. In 2021, the minimum temperature dropped to minus 8.8 degrees Celsius in Srinagar on the 31st of January. Pahalgam recorded minus 9.2 degrees Celsius and Gulmarg was at minus 7.5 degrees Celsius as the minimum temperature. The Met Office has forecast severe cold and dry weather over the region for the next 24 hours. Moving on now, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Thursday addressed the 2-day Kaushal Mahotsav in Bundi in Rajasthan today. He said that the youth of India are leading the entire world on the strength of their skills and innovation. The Lok Sabha Speaker said that the world's big companies have recognized the intellectual potential of India's youth and their capacity to resolve issues. The Lok Sabha Speaker further said that he hoped that the youth of the country will become job givers in the coming times. He added that there is a need for everyone to work together collectively to provide employment to the youth. Let's listen in.
जितनी हमारी विशालता है, जितनी हमारी विविधता है, जितना हमारा लोकतंत्र है, उतना ही बौद्धिक क्षमता से, कौशल से, इनोवेशन से, रिसर्च के अंदर, टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर भारत का नौजवान दुनिया के अंदर नेतृत्व कर रहा है.
And time now for a quick look at some more news from across the nation. Chairman and CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, met Prime Minister Modi today. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, country's strides in technology and innovation are ushering in an era of technology-led growth. He said that the youth is filled with ideas which have the potential to transform the planet. Mr. Nadella, in his tweet, thanked the Prime Minister for an insightful meeting. He said it is inspiring to see the government's deep focus on sustainable and inclusive economic growth led by digital transformation. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is on a two-day visit to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He reviewed the operational preparedness of the ANC command today. The strategically located islands can act as a pivot to counter China's expanding footprint in the Indian Ocean region. Rajnath Singh will also be visiting the Naval Air Station INS Bas located at Campbell Bay, which is India's southernmost airbase that overlooks the crucial Malacca Straits. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court today stayed the Uttarakhand High Court order directing removal of encroachments on 29 acres of Indian Railways land in Haldwani in Uttarakhand, which would have led to eviction of more than 4,000 families who are residing there. A bench of Justices Sanjay Kishan Kaul and A.S. Oka disapproved the manner in which the eviction was sought to be carried out by the Railways. The next hearing in the case will be held on the 7th of February. In 2022, more than 2 crore vehicles were sold across the country. This is about 15% more than the sale numbers of 2021. During this period, the sale of passenger vehicles and tractors were the highest. However, sales of two-wheelers with ICE, that is the internal combustion engine, have come down due to rising inflation, rising vehicle prices, lack of revival in rural markets, and increasing sales of electric vehicles. Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari inspected the progress of the Bengaluru-Chennai Expressway, which is an 8-lane layout of 262 kilometers built at a cost of more than 16,000 crore rupees. And time now for a very short break in the bulletin. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay tuned.
The only show of its kind that tries to demystify diplomacy and make complex international issues understandable to everyone. I'm Vikas Swaroop. In every week, I bring you a new dispatch from the front lines of foreign affairs. We talk to the best experts who enlarge our understanding of foreign affairs and show us why the world matters to India and why India matters to the world. So keep watching Diplomatic Dispatch only on Sunset Television.
Welcome back. Let's take a look now at all the latest from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. NATO Secretary General has said that it would be dangerous to underestimate Russia over the nearly year-long war in Ukraine. He said that they have shown a great willingness to tolerate losses and suffering, adding that there is no indication that Russian President Putin has changed his plans and goals in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky said that Ukraine is getting more armored vehicles, including French-made wheeled tanks, a first from a Western European country. He noted this was very important in order to restore security for all Ukrainians and peace for all Europeans. The decision was made during a phone call between French President Emmanuel Macron and Ukrainian Prime Minister Zelensky on Wednesday afternoon. The AMX-10 RC light tanks are made by French government-owned Giat manufacturers, he said, and they have been equipping the French military since 1981, most recently with a modernized version. Ukrainian Foreign Minister said on Wednesday he expected the first US-made Patriot air defense system to be deployed in Ukraine as soon as possible, adding that preparations for the transfer of the system to Ukraine are already underway. He added that Ukrainian diplomats were intensively working on new solutions for the supply of Western weapons. The Patriot is a surface-to-air guided missile system that can target aircraft, cruise missiles, and shorter-range ballistic missiles. He said that modern air defense and missile defense systems remained a priority for Ukraine, along with tanks, artillery systems, and ammunition. Meanwhile, American President Joe Biden said that the United States is considering sending Bradley fighting vehicles to help Ukraine combat Russia's ongoing invasion. When asked if the option was on the table, he replied in the affirmative. The armored vehicle with a powerful gun has been used as a staple by the US Army to carry troops around battlefields since the mid-80s. The Army has thousands of Bradleys, which could give the Ukrainians more firepower on the battlefield. And let's take a look now at some more developments from across the globe. Let's move on to the United States now, where the Republicans in the US House of Representatives failed to elect a leader on Wednesday for a second straight day, as a faction of holdouts repeatedly defied former President Trump's call to unite behind his ally, Kevin McCarthy. After 3 failed votes and a round of closed-door talks, McCarthy appeared no closer to securing the post of House Speaker, which is a powerful job second in the line of succession to the presidency. Let's take a look at this report.
Even after a 4th, 5th and 6th round of voting produced no better outcome, Republican leader McCarthy wasn't giving up on Wednesday. He kept pressing for the nighttime session, but that also became controversial as the House voted 216-214 amid shouting and crowding to adjourn for the night.
The House stands adjourned until noon tomorrow.
No progress was seen through the day as vote after vote failed to elevate McCarthy into the top job as Speaker. Each round of voting produced almost the same outcome. In fact, McCarthy saw his support slip to 201 from 202 as one fellow Republican switched to vote simply present. With at least 20 Republicans still refusing to support him, McCarthy was left far short of the 218 typically needed to win the post. Seeing no quick way out of the political standoff, Republicans voted abruptly to adjourn. They were due back in the evening, but McCarthy wanted to take a break until Thursday. But even the simple motion to adjourn erupted into a floor fight, with Democrats and some Republicans insisting on a lengthy vote. Meanwhile, McCarthy, the California Republican, pledged to fight to the finish for the Speaker's job. But so far, it has been the grueling spectacle, unlike any in modern times, that has shown the new Republican majority in an unprecedented disarray for the first days of the new Congress. Bureau Report, Sunset TV.
Meanwhile, China has refuted WHO's concerns that it is not sharing details about COVID-19 issues, including hospitalization rates and genetic sequences. China has put the official death toll at 5,258, which global experts say is very low considering that hospitals across China are battling to tackle the surge in the number of patients. Let's find out more.
Patients, most of them elderly, are lying on stretchers in hallways and receiving oxygen while sitting in wheelchairs or stretchers as COVID-19 cases surge in Beijing. The hospital in the capital city was packed with newly arrived patients on Thursday. By mid-morning, beds had run out, even as ambulances continued to bring those who needed treatment. Over the past week, European Union nations have reacted with a variety of restrictions towards travellers from China, disregarding an earlier commitment to act in unity. World Health Organization head said on Wednesday that he was concerned about the lack of outbreak data from the Chinese government. On Thursday, China's foreign ministry, however, responded that it has always been open about its sharing of COVID-19 data. WHO said it received no data from China on new COVID hospitalizations for December last year, since Beijing lifted its zero-COVID policy, but added that gaps in data might be due to Chinese authorities simply struggling to tally cases. China reported 5 new deaths related to COVID-19 for Tuesday, bringing the official death toll to 5,258, very low by global standards. Bureau Report, Sunset TV.
And let's take a quick look now at some more important global developments in our World Wrap segment. Hong Kong will reopen its border with mainland China on Sunday, allowing tens of thousands of people to travel between both sides under a quarantine-free arrangement. The city's land and sea border checkpoints with the mainland were largely closed for almost 3 years under China's zero-COVID strategy that has restricted entry to the country. The reopening is expected to provide a much-needed boost to Hong Kong's economy. Afghanistan's ruling Taliban killed 8 Islamic State militants and arrested 9 others in Kabul. The raids targeted IS militants who organized recent attacks on Kabul's Longan Hotel, Pakistan's embassy and the military airport. The Taliban said that the militants had a main role in the attack on the Chinese hotel and paved the way for foreign IS members to come to Afghanistan. The UN Security Council scheduled an emergency meeting on Thursday at the request of the Palestinians and other Islamic and non-Islamic nations. They were protesting the visit of Israel's new national security minister to the site known to Jews as the Temple Mount and to Muslims, meaning the Noble Sanctuary. The visit was condemned across the Muslim world and fueled fears of unrest as Palestinian militant groups threatened to act in response. Nepal's Prime Minister Prachanda intensified negotiations with other parties to secure majority votes ahead of a vote of confidence in Parliament next week. The Prachanda-led coalition government requires 138 votes in the 275-member House of Representatives to survive the vote of confidence. Prachanda claims he has the support of 169 lawmakers. Pope Francis presided at the funeral mass in St. Peter's Square on Thursday as thousands gathered in memory of former Pope Benedict, who died on Saturday at the age of 95. More than 60,000 people attended the funeral in front of St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican. Attending the mass were official delegations from Italy and Benedict's native land, Germany. Others, including the King and Queen of Belgium, the Queen of Spain, and about 13 heads of state, attended in a private capacity. Most countries were represented by their ambassadors to the Vatican. And time now for all the latest from the world of sports. The second T20 international between India and Sri Lanka is underway in Pune. Sri Lanka's captain, 22 ball 56, sets India a target of 207 runs. Australian batters dominate the second day of Sydney Test. Kangaroos 475 for 4 at stumps. Rain leaves Usman Khawaja stranded at 195. Meanwhile, New Zealand declares second innings at 277 for 5, setting Pakistan a target of 319 runs to win the second test in Karachi. The home team lose 2 wickets for naught before stumps are drawn on day 4. Asia Cup 2023 to be played in 50-over format. It will be held in September this year. Arch rivals India and Pakistan are in the same group. India opener Ishan Kishan jumps 10 places to 23rd position, while Deepak Hooda re-enters the top 100 in the latest ICC rankings for T20 international batters that was released today. Novak Djokovic battles back from 5-2 down in the first set to beat Quentin Halys and move into the Adelaide International 1 quarterfinals today. And Barcelona's struggle in Copa del Rey debut need extra time to beat Intercity 4-3. Ansu Fati scores the winner in 104th minute. Catalan club relinquishes lead 3 times in the 3-3 draw in regulation. And with that, it's a wrap of the bulletin this evening. Do stay tuned to Sunset TV for all the latest news and updates. Thank you for being here. Good night.